Okay, hi everyone. So this video is on installing ArduPilot, MAVLink, and MAVProxy into Raspberry Pi. So before installing ArduPilot, MAVLink, and MAVProxy, we will have to install an OS to our Raspberry Pi. So I will start it from there. So I will try to make it short, but these installations take a little bit of time. So here I'm using Raspberry Pi 4, so I will use this Pi 4 option, and for OS I will use this BIOS 64-bit, and storage is of course my SD card. Click next, and I want to edit settings. I don't know if you can see the settings window. Let me see if I'm sharing the settings window. Let me see whether you can see that. I'm not sure whether you can see that. So because of that, I will share the whole screen. So hopefully you will see the screen now. So there are project name wise, I will have it as BU project. So my project name is BU project here. So as username and password, I will use user and user. And I will let this connect to my local wireless network. That will be easier for me. And then services wise, I want to enable SSH. Yeah, SSH is enabled. Okay, so seems like everything is set. Now let me save these settings. And yes, I want to customize. Yes, I want to erase the data and install this. So this installation will take a little while. So I will take a little break, and I will start again when I finish this and when we start to enable the VNC server and then start installing. Okay. Okay, now the installation is complete. I will continue and take off my SD card, and I will insert this to my Raspberry Pi, and we will try to SSH into this and try to connect the VNC server. So give me a couple of minutes for that. Okay, I have inserted the Raspberry Pi, SD card into the Raspberry Pi. So I don't have a separate monitor or a keyboard to log into the Raspberry Pi. Because of that, I have to log into the Raspberry Pi through the network. For that, I have to find the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. So I will use this advanced IP scanner to scan the network. So I have other Raspberry Pis attached as well. So like there will be a lot of IPs appearing here. So I have to figure out what IP belongs to this new Raspberry Pi. So we'll see. So I don't know how this is going to work. So maybe look into the IP addresses and try to resolve this. So again, this will take a little while. So I will wait until IP addresses loads here, and then we'll figure out what IP address belong to this new Raspberry Pi. Okay, so now I see a list of IP addresses appearing here. So I know this 21 is one of the previous ones, 22 is one of the previous ones, 24, 26, 27, all are the existing ones. So I presume that 23 might be this newer one. So we will log into it and see. Let's try to run an SSH. Let's close this one. Use a new SSH window. Sorry, putty SSH window. So it will be 192.168.0. What was it? 23? Yeah, it should be 23. Except we gave the password, username and password, user. So we will see. Now in this one, I want to enable, before that, let's try to do a if config to see the network arrangement. Now I can see port 24 attached to this one. So probably this is the right one. And then 23 and 24. Okay. So now I will have to enable the VNC server. In order to enable the VNC server, I have to go to the configuration. For that, I have to do a sudo raspi-config. Let's try to do that. Yeah, and then interface options. In the interface options, there's VNC. And the VNC, I will have to enable it. Yes. Okay, VNC is enabled. So let's finish this. So probably now I can use the VNC server to connect to this one. So I will try to open up a new instance of the VNC server. I will just copy a previous one. That will be easier for me. Let me try to edit this one. It's 23, 2900. Okay. And this should open up. Continue. User. Okay, so now we are in the Raspberry Pi, right? So let me see if you can see these windows. I'm not sure whether you can see. I have to check that again. Yeah, you can see. Okay. What are the interfaces that we have? Yeah, we have the wireless interface, and at the same time, I think we should have a wired interface as well. Yeah, 24 is the wired interface. Okay. Now we will have to install ArduPilot, MAVLink, and MAVProxy. So before that, I prefer creating a access point in here because I will be using that access point in order to work with the network. What should we do? Do we do that before or after? Okay, anyways, we will do that after, because sometimes in this video you might not be even interested in creating the access point. So for now, then I will try to install ArduPilot. Not in fact ArduPilot. So we have to build that. We have to build the ArduPilot here, clone it, build it, and then install MAVProxy and MAVLink. So let's start from updating the system. That sudo apt-get update. Yeah, sudo apt-get update. So this takes a while. So sometimes I might pause the window or pause the recording for a while if it takes time. And then we will upgrade it. Well, this might take a while, so I will pause the video. Okay, now the upgrading has finished. So once this is finished, sometimes this VNC server connection may drop because the Raspberry Pi restarts, or it may be restarting the VNC server itself. Somehow it restarts. Because of that, you may need to connect to the VNC server back again. And after that, you will have to install some dependencies. I will just copy these dependency executions into this terminal because I don't want to keep typing all this. And I will list this in the description, right? So I have 4 commands here that I have to run. We'll run them. Okay, so those dependencies are installed. Once these dependencies are installed, we will have to clone the ArduPilot. There are some other dependencies as well. We will have to install while we are installing this. For now, let's wait until these dependencies are installed. It took a little while, sorry, for the installation. And then I will try to clone the ArduPilot. Let's try to get the command for that. So I will be cloning it from ArduPilot.git. And once I do that, I will have to log into ArduPilot folder. So I think this may also take a little while for the cloning and building. Let's see. So it took only a couple of minutes. And now, so I will be moving on to the ArduPilot directory. And from there, I will have to update the submodules. That is git submodule update dash int, sorry, init minus recursive. Oh, there's an error. Is it minus? Oh, minus minus here. I think it's minus minus. And recursive is also minus minus, probably. I think. Yeah. So that is completed. Now, from here onwards, we have to create a virtual environment. Otherwise, there will be conflicts. So I will be creating a virtual environment in here named DroneSwarm. So DroneSwarm is my project. So I will create this virtual environment under the name DroneSwarm. So that will be created inside this folder. And once it is being created, we will have to activate it. Okay, seems like it is created. Now let's try and activate it. Yeah, right now. So we are inside the DroneSwarm, sorry, virtual environment. So once you get into that, we will have to install empty pxpt and pyMAVLink and MAVProxy. So I will run all 4 of these together. There are no dependencies. This will run. Let me see if I can run all these together. Okay, I have all those 4 listed out, and let's try to see. Install. Seems like they're going fine. That is complete. Then we will have to, sorry, configure this one. So I will have to move into ArduPilot directory. So I'm inside the ArduPilot directory, so it's fine. Then I will run these two WAF commands. Sometimes this may take a long time. I'm not sure whether it is this one, this step or the next step, so it takes a long time. I think it's this step. So probably like an hour or so. So yeah. So we have to wait until all these are completed. So there's 1325 steps. So we'll come back after all these steps. Welcome back. Now you can see after about half an hour, still it's 551 out of 1325. So we will keep on waiting until this finishes. So yeah, this takes time. Okay, sorry. Last, the installation is completed. Now you can see Copter finished successfully. So this has been installed. Now we have to add our tools to the path. So for that, I will do this sudo nano bash rc. And that will open up the bash rc file, and at the end I have to add the path of the tools autotest folder. Okay, here I will add this path. Right, and then Control X, save yes, and enter. Right, and then I have to run this. In order to run, I have to source dash rc. Right, so that's being completed. Now I can run MAVProxy and try to connect to my ground control. So ground control is a software you can simply download from the internet. So you just go to Google and type ground control and download, whether if you're using the Linux, download the Linux version. If you're using Windows, download the Windows version. So here I have installed in this computer Windows version. So I will try to add a new vehicle for that. So I had like three of these vehicles running, and now I have disconnected my cluster head. That's why all these are disconnected. So I will try to run the MAVProxy. Let me type the command. So typically this ground control is accepting connections from port 14550. By default, you can set up the port that you need. However, by default, this is running on 14550. So I will use the default connection for this particular example. So for that, I have to type sim vehicle. Second, I will just copy the command. That will be easier for me. I'll give all these commands to you. So here, ultimately, I'm typing this sys ID, some kind of a vehicle ID number. So I will give a random vehicle number here, let's say 50. And so sim vehicle started running. So let's see if it needs any dependencies to be installed. Sometimes it may. That happened to me a couple of times. Seems it's running okay this time. Okay, sim vehicle waiting for SITL to exit. So this is running the SITL simulator here. Now I have to open up a new window or a new tab because I can't use this tab now. So here SITL, the simulator is running. So in this tab, I have to add the MAVProxy command in order to route the packets to the queue ground control. So in order to do that, first of all, I will have to load the virtual environment here. So or activate the virtual environment. So in order to activate the virtual environment, I will have to type source drone so bin active. So I will just paste the command here. Sorry, not that one. Not that one. This was the one we did before. Let me just copy the command. So I'm too lazy to type these things. Right. Okay, so this environment is active now. Now I will have to type a MAVProxy command to route the packets. Okay, so here in this MAVProxy command, I will explain what this is. So this will be calling this MAVProxy.py. So this is the software which is running the Python script, and then we are asking it to connect to the localhost port 5760 and SITL again localhost port 5501. Both these are for the connection of SITL or the software in the loop simulator. That is the simulator where the ArduCopter, the drone simulation is running, and then -- out UDP 192.168.0.5.14.5550 is the port and the IP of my queue ground control. So this particular laptop here that I'm using has the IP 192.168.0.5, and I'm setting the packets out at port 14550. And I don't need this other one. So this one I have used for something else. For this particular scenario, I don't need that. Yeah, now I just want to output to this 14550. Let's try to activate that one.
Vehicle 50 stabilize flight mode.
Okay, now it says vehicle 50 is connected to this queue ground control. Now you can see if I select vehicle 50, yeah, so it is connected. It's in the stabilize mode. So if I want to put it to some other mode, I can put it to some other mode. Yeah, now it is ready because it was waiting until all these checks are completed, right? Now it is ready. So we can do various things with this drone simulation now. So this, oh, I'm really sorry. I think you can't see my queue ground control. Let me share the queue ground control window. Wait, let me share the queue ground control window. Share screen, queue ground control window, share. Okay, so this is the queue ground control window. So in this queue ground control window, I can select all the vehicles that I'm connected right now. So this 50 is the one which we ran just now. So I can see it here as well. And yeah, it is connected. So if I want to connect it in a different port, I can go to this application settings. Application settings. Just give me a second. Okay. And this com links here, I can add a new link here and put the address. So if I select add, I can give it a name, give it the port, and edit and connect. Right? If I want to connect it in a different port, that is also possible. But typically, we don't need to do that unless we have a specific reason based on an application. Right? Okay, so now we are connected to queue ground control and our simulation is running, but I want to show you another thing before we finish. That is, we will need an access point if you are using this as a cluster head, so I will create an access point as well. Okay. Okay, as the first thing, if you have connected to this using the wireless connection before, I did connect to this one using the wireless connection. However, while I was installing the SITL or the MAVLink, MAVProxy and all that, I switched from my wireless link to my wired link. That is the VNC connection. I have switched from wireless link to the wired link because I want to create an access point. So when I create an access point, that will be in a different network. So I won't be able to connect to that particular network other than changing my computer's wireless connection to that particular network, right? So I don't want to do that. I want to be connected to my my current local network. Because of that, it's better I get connected to the local network through the wired link because I want to create an access point using my wireless link, right? So for that, I need an extra, even a window is fine. So let's wait. Okay, now let's try to create the access point. I'm not sure if we have NMCLI installed here, but we can try the command and see. If the command does not work, we will need to install that one. So the command is sudo nmcli device Wi-Fi hotspot, and its SSID is DroneZone. So I'm naming my hotspot as DroneZone, and my password is just BU project, right? So that is my standard password for this project. So press enter. We will see if it is getting created or if it is successful, and it says, yeah, it's activated, right? So I have created my access point. Let me see. Yeah, so now you can see this has created the hotspot, and the hotspot's name is DroneZone, which has an IP 10.42.0.1. So that is the standard access point IP that this is going to give when an access point is created. So that is 10.42.0.1. So that is the one which we'll be using for our communication as the cluster head later on. Now the hotspot is created. So I want to make this hotspot available when this boots up. So for that, I need to add certain settings. For that, I will need to create a script or a service. Let's get the command. So it's sudo nano /etc/systemd systemd and then /system dronezone.service. So I'm creating this service file. And once I create the file, I need to add a few lines to the file. Add a few lines. Uh-oh. Okay, so this has the SSID and the password and the hotspot name and stuff. So Control X. Yes, I want to save it with the same name. Okay, it's being created. Now we will have to enable this service, right? For that, I have to do enable, and then after enabling, I will have to start the service. Okay, so I'm enabling the service. It's enabled. And now I will have to start the service. Get the command to start the service. Okay. Now that's completed. Gonna just leave that window aside. And then I will close this existing communication.
Vehicle 50 communication lost.
And I'll be closing the simulation as well. Right. Because I want to run this as ID 101. Because 101 was my previous cluster head, which I removed. Now I want to add this one as my cluster head, right? So my cluster head ID is 101. So I'm adding this to the network as 101. And still I did not run my MAVProxy for this one. So I will have to run the MAVProxy command. But now I have to be careful to think about what the links are that I'm having. Let me check. So I might have written that down. The links that I'm having here for my cluster head. I will have to change this one a little bit, but I think the command that I'm having looks okay. Let me see. Okay, so I have the MAVProxy master. So first two connection should be the same TCP one and this UDP one, which is going for the local host, and then UDP out at 192.168.0.5 14550, that is going to my ground station. And this connection, this master UDP in, which is at 14552, which is acting as the relaying point to the cluster members. So that is also fine. And this 14553, I'm using a separate link to talk to the ground station. So I think this setting would be fine for now. So once I do this, once I enter, if this is working fine, this should connect the other cluster members to the ground station. Right now, these cluster members are not connected to the ground station. So if I just show you the screen, just give me a second. Yeah, if I share you the screen. So you can see this vehicle number 77 is not connected. Vehicle number 100 is not connected. Anyways, vehicle number 50 is no more there, so it's not connected. So vehicle 101, that is this one, that is not connected. So let me.
Vehicle 101 communication regained. Vehicle 101 disarmed. Vehicle 101 stabilized flight mode.
So vehicle 101 is connected. I have to see why the vehicle 77 and vehicle 100 are not connected. So those should be routing through this one. So I don't know whether they are available in the network right now. So if they are available in the network, they should connect. So I have one, sorry, I have one device here. This one, I have one device here. Let me see, that is device ID. Let me see. That is device ID 100. That device ID 100 is running. I don't know why it is not communicating. So let me close that down and run it again. So it should go through 10.42.0.1. This is not connected to the access point. That's why. So this device has to connect to that access point. This might not have connected to access point. Yeah. So I will have to connect to the access point. And so since we use the same username and password as before, this should connect. And if not, then I will close this video and then I'll try to figure it out. I don't know whether, no. If it is giving the access or not giving the access because it's the first time. So if I look at my connections, I have this hotspot 10.4.0.1. Probably I will have to scan for connections. Okay, I figured out the issue. There was an issue with the password. So I corrected the issue. And now I'm connected to the drone swarm access point using this device. This device has the ID 100. So I will connect this to the network now. So this will connect through
Vehicle 100 communication regained.
Vehicle 100 communication regained. This communication was regained through this 10.42.0.1. That is our access point, or that is our cluster head, which I created just now. So through that, this is connecting to vehicle 100 is connecting to the Q ground control. So that is all what I wanted to show you. So this is my access point or the cluster head. Now cluster head is running and the other cluster nodes are connected to this cluster head and connecting to the ground station. So we have installed the Raspberry Pi, and then we have installed ArduPilot, we have installed MAVProxy, we have installed MAVLink, and then we created the access point and got everything running. I will, in the description, I will put all the commands, and if I find time, I will try to upload an image of this so that anyone can use. Okay, so thank you very much. So I will see you in another video with more details. Thank you.